This video is about prospecting, generating leads, and closing. When we are talking about leads, we mean possible future customers that are usually collected from either internal or external or personal sources, using maybe website monitoring tools or competitions or recommendations or name lists or so on. And prospect is a lead that is interested in the product that the company is offering, and they have demand for that product as well. And when talking about qualified prospect, it means that a person or a company has the money and the authority and the desire to buy as well. All companies need leads at the top of their sales funnel, and most companies need help generating leads, and especially the good leads. And brands and companies attract leads with different kind of marketing techniques and content. Popular ones are especially inbound marketing, different kind of guides or webinars, and social media marketing, also outbound marketing, different kind of marketing automation things, contests, optimized content, then using hashtags and forums and chats and contact forms. And it is helpful if the possible customers leave some kind of contact information for the company. When leads are unqualified contacts, prospects have gone through a process of identified as a likely new customer. So if the lead seems like a potential customer, it turns to be a prospect. And as I was talking about earlier, all kinds of inbound content is a great source of prospects when you have to leave your contact information and maybe some information about your status at work. So the system might provide information for the salesperson if that might be a qualified prospect. And that means a person or a company that could benefit from the service or the product that you are offering, and they have the power to make the purchase decision. So many people might be interested, or many companies might be interested in your product, but it's not helpful if they cannot actually make the purchase. And if you want to reach your sales targets, you should be constantly growing your list of prospects. Different kind of tools are helpful for prospecting from Finnish companies, Vainu and Leadfeeder, and big companies such as HubSpot might be used for prospecting and identifying the potential new customers. Ideal customer is a prototype of your buyer. We have some examples for you later on in the next slide. To visual and target the message, your sales message, to right people. And ideal customers are usually described as person or people, but sometimes you could describe companies as well. And ideal customers are pages or cards or descriptions of your ideal customer, saying something about their age or lifestyle or family or values or other brands that they might enjoy. And it is close to segmentation, but it is more detailed. You are actually describing a person. And here are a couple of examples on ideal customer profiles. They start from their specific age and marital status, and they describe their goals or channels that you might use to reach them and what motivates them, and or they might tell what your customer wants to know and what they doesn't know, or what are their pain points, or so on. There are a bunch of different theories about how the selling process moves forward, but anyway, it is a series of activities that are performed by the salesperson, and during that process, leads turn into prospects, and then prospects do something that you want, buy the product, and then they end up to be your customers. And as a funnel, the number of people or companies in your funnel gets smaller and smaller as you reach the top. And it sounds kind of simple, but it's very important that every company who sells something, so almost all the companies in the world, they should think about their selling process and just like write it out. Not anything fancy, but just to tell all the people that are involved in sales what their sales process is really about. Then next, we talk a little bit about the sales steps in face-to-face meetings and online. There are a couple of different ways to categorize these as well, and now I have few written down here for you. So when the sales process or the selling process happens, the customer and or salesperson take steps in person or online, and each of these steps makes the sale further and they convert leads into customers and referees. And if you have a face-to-face sales meeting, it might look something like this. Salesperson is opening the conversation and making the sales presentation, then doing the trial closing, seeing like how the product feels to the listeners, then doing answering the questions and doing the handling objections phase, and after that closing and doing the follow-up with the customer. Or it might look something like this, that the salesperson is opening the conversation, then with some questions or tactics such as spin is identifying the customer needs and handling different kind of customer concerns, then is justifying the price, and after that closing the deal and nurturing and making additional sales after that. And if you have, or if you are doing online sales, these different steps might be described as creating awareness online, then educating or inspiring the customer with your content, then encouraging the decision making with different kind of content or offerings, and then after that closing or making the sale online. or that you are first identifying your customers, then somehow connecting with them or meeting with them online, then doing a demo of your product or your service, and then arranging a follow-up, then doing the negotiations and educating your customer, then getting the approval and closing. And these might happen during different days or during different weeks. Last slide of this video describes the digital sales process from the company and the customer perspective. So the first step usually happens when the customer has some kind of a problem or a need or a dream that they want to resolve, or the company has created awareness for their product or service. And usually the customer first heads to Google and they are using keywords or searching or describing their problem or their need or their dream. And they don't know a lot yet, but they want to learn. And they are not that committed yet. And the company should do banner ads or social media marketing, or just like have a strong social media presence and great social media content, maybe some blog posts or PDF guides to help the customer identify the problem and create awareness about them. Then the second step, the customer is usually doing research, so it is important for the company to educate the customer. So the customer wants to study how to solve their problem or how to get closer to their dream. They are thinking about their different options and they are like snooping around the internet, and their commitment is still quite low or average, and the company can help the customer by providing more detailed information such as PDF guides, ebooks or buyer guides, or more deep articles and blog posts, or maybe even webinars, or invite them to events, or provide podcasts, or let them subscribe to a newsletter, or make which product tests or so on to keep the customer interested. Then on the third step, it is about justifying the product and for the customer to make the criteria to make the decision later. So on third point, the customer usually knows about some of the features that they want for the product or the service, and they are somehow comparing the different options, and they are quite highly committed. And the company should offer content that justifies for the customer the decision that they should choose just that company. So webinars and podcasts and 10 reasons lists and how to buy checklists, or like breaking the price down or highlighting the benefits work fine on this particular stage. And then during the closing and when the customer is making the decision, they are looking for demos and free trials, and they choose the company and the company's specific product or service that is best for them, and they are quite highly committed. And if the company wants to help with the closing, they might use references or tell about their partners or buyer stories and offer some kind of trials and demos for their potential customers, or do consultations or make special offers like coupons or codes. They might highlight their guarantee for that product or service, or or talk about their free returns, or somehow remove the hesitations that the customer might have. So these were my thoughts about the digital sales process. Hope you enjoyed it.